بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل اللهم مالك الملك تؤتي الملك من تشاء وتنزع الملك ممن تشاء وتعز من تشاء وتذل من تشاء بيدك الخير إنك على كل شيء قدير صدق الله العظيم. Respected elders, mothers, brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah. Yesterday we had talked a little bit about the beginning of this verse, and inshallah today or tonight we will inshallah be going a little further into the verse to discuss how Allah Azza wa Jal, He grants izzah and dignity and nobility to whomsoever He wills, and to others whomsoever He wills, He grants disgrace. Throughout the history of Islam, the history of all of the Anbiya, the examples of those who had izzah apparently in dunya, and then they were disgraced at the end. The Quran is filled with examples of this. You look in the time of Musa alayhi salam, the biggest tyrant of his time, the Fir'aun. What did he say to the people? He would boast about his riches and his wealth. هَذِهِ الْأَنْهَارُ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِي. Don't you see these rivers that are flowing beneath me? مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَهٍ غَيْرِي. There is no Lord or God for you besides myself. To such an extent he had pride. You can't worship anyone besides me. I'm the only God. Na'udhu billah. But look at the ending, how he ended off. How Allah Azza wa Jal disgraced him. All of that power, all of those riches, all of those subordinates. Slaughter whom you want. Kill whom you want. Every bad thing that you could imagine, do what you want. Steal from who you wish. He had the ability to do it all. But in the end, respected listeners, Fir'aun, he tried to make tawbah. In the end, Fir'aun, he tried to ask Allah for forgiveness and to follow the way of Musa alayhi salam. لا إله إلا الذي آمنت به بنو إسرائيل وأنا من المسلمين. He said, I declare there's no God except the Lord of the Bani Israel. And I am Muslim, I believe and I submit to that one God. And how did Allah Azza wa Jal disgrace him? Jibreel alayhi salam was sent down. It's mentioned in the tafsir. Jibreel alayhi salam was sent down and he stuffed the mouth of Fir'aun with dirt. There's no tawbah for you now. Where's all those riches going to help you now? Where are all those subordinates that were making sajda to you? You can't even recite the kalima on your tongue. That is the dhillat. That is the disgrace. When Allah's disgrace comes, there is nothing that you can do. There is no alternate route that you could take. Allahumma hafadna. You see the case of Qarun. A big jama'ah, a group of people would be needed just to carry the keys to his treasure. Imagine how big the actual treasures were. Just the keys. One person could not carry. You had to have a whole jama'ah. What did Qarun say? إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. You want me to follow Musa alayhi salam? You want me to submit? You want me to have tawadu'? You want me to put my forehead down? I can't do that. All this money I have, all of this wealth, this is from my own side. أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. My knowledge is the thing that has given me this wealth. And then what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the earth swallow him. Continuously swallow him, swallow him, swallow him. He will continue to be swallowed. This is the disgrace. And inshallah, I wish to read to you all one hadith where the izzah is mentioned of one of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The companion's name was Asim ibn Thabit al-Ansari radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The hadith is narrated in Bukhari. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he narrates the hadith. Inshallah, I'll only read the English for a lack of time. Asim ibn Thabit al-Ansari radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was sent in a delegation. They went to the mushrikeen to scout the situation, as to spy, to look what's happening. Warfare. This was a caravan that went out to check on the delegations of the Quraysh and see what they're up to. Asim ibn Thabit radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was appointed as the Amir of this lashkar, of this jaysh, of this army. He was appointed as the Amir. So as they went and they finally settled where the mushrikeen were, the mushrikeen, they found out that this group of Muslims, they have come to scout us and see our situation. So what did they do? They surrounded them from all sides. Asim ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu and his companions, they went on top of a hill and they took refuge on top of there. They sought protection on top of the hill. The mushrikeen surrounded the hill and they said, "Oh, you Muslims, come down. If you come down, we promise you that you will be safe. We're not going to kill you. We're not going to harm you." Asim ibn Thabit radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when they gave this offer of peace, we're not going to kill you, he said, "I will never trust a disbeliever. I will never trust my life in the hands of a disbeliever." So he started continuing to fight and battle all the way until he became shaheed and he passed away. Rahimahullah ta'ala wa radiyallahu anhu. After this happened, 3 of the companions of Asim in his army, they came down from the mountain. One of them was Khubayb radiyallahu anhu, and the other one was Zayd ibn al-Dathina, and there was a third. The third one, as he came down, he also started to fight back until he became shaheed, and then you had these other 2 that remained. So what happened next? You had Asim ibn Thabit radiyallahu anhu, they executed him. And as for Khubayb radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he had taken part in the battle of Badr. During the battle of Badr, in the midst of the battle, he killed someone by the name of Harith. So now the mushrikeen, what did they do? They imprisoned Khubayb radiyallahu anhu. They made him into a prisoner. They put him in jail. And subhanallah, one of the family members of the mushrikeen, she says, this is her speaking, she says that Khubayb radiyallahu anhu, one time as he was in the cell, in the prison cell, he was taking care of his hygiene, his needs, so he had a razor in his hand. Right? He was taking care of his underarms and things like that. So she says, as he has this razor in his hand, one of the small kids from our family, he snuck inside of the cell. And she said, the hearts of the mushrikeen dropped. And everybody was afraid that, look, this is a prisoner. He's a dangerous man. He's got a razor in his hand and there's a small child from amongst us that's entered the cell. So she said, Wallahi, I had not seen a better prisoner than Khubayb radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He simply put the child on his lap and was playing with the child. There's no dhulm in Islam. What is the innocent child? What did he do? And what did she say? She said, I had never seen a prisoner more honorable than Khubayb. This is a mushrikah. This is a woman from the kuffar. She says, I never saw anyone more dignified than Khubayb. She said, Wallahi, with my own 2 eyes, I saw out of season, Khubayb is in the prison cell and he's eating grapes. Where did the grapes come from? There's no grapes in Makkah at that time. There's no caravans bringing grapes. How is he eating grapes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was sustaining him from the ghaib while he's inside of this cell. Look at the izzah and the honor. They can imprison you, they can do what they want, they can tarnish your name, but when Allah wants to uplift your name, when Allah wants to hold your dignity, nobody can hold that back. So eventually what happens? Khubayb radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, as they're getting ready to execute him, they gave him to the sons of Harith. Remember I mentioned, he had killed a person in the battle of Badr by the name of Harith. So they gave Khubayb to the children of Harith because they knew that they're going to kill him. So Khubayb radiallahu anhu, as he's about to be executed, he says, please, give me a few moments, I wish to perform salah. So quickly he performs salah, and then he comes back. And he says, Wallahi, if it were not for the fact that you people would think that I'm scared of death, I wished I could have prolonged my salah and did a long salah. But since you guys would think that I'm scared of death, that's why he's reading long salah. I made my salah short because I'm not scared to die. And then he read some poetry, very beautiful poetry. He says, فَلَا أُبَالِي حِينَ أُقْتَلُ مُسْلِمًا. I don't care and I have no worries as long as I die in the condition that I'm a Muslim. عَلَىٰ أَيِّ شِقٍّ كَانَ لِلَّهِ مَصْرَعِي. Whichever side I fall down on, whether on my back or my stomach or my left, that doesn't matter. As long as my body falls down for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِن يَشَأْ يُبَارِكْ. If Allah wishes, He can place barakah. عَلَىٰ أَوْصَالِ شِلْوٍ مُمَزَّعِي. He will put barakah on my body parts and severed limbs that have been scattered all about, spread. Allah will put barakah in those limbs. Allahu Akbar. And then they executed him. And subhanallah, look at the izzah that Allah has granted him, that to this day, brothers and sisters, 1400 years later, what are we reading about today? Asim ibn Thabit radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Khubayb radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The last part of this hadith that I'm going to end off with is about Asim ibn Thabit radiyallahu anhu. Once they executed this man, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the mushrikeen, they found out and they said, we want some proof. We want some proof that Asim has passed away. So they sent one of their men and they said, Na'udhu billah, you must cut a piece from his body. Cut his fingers or his hand or piece from his face. Show us some proof that he's actually died. The mushrikeen, because they wanted to make sure that he's passed away. Na'udhu billah. This was their khabathat and their filth inside of their hearts. So they actually came to Asim ibn Thabit and they looked for his body and they tried to cut a piece off of his body. And subhanallah, as they approached his body, an entire swarm of bees and wasps covered the whole scene. And anywhere the mushrikeen would move, these wasps would block them. They could not reach the body of Asim ibn Thabit radiyallahu anhu. Look at the izzah. Even the bees and the wasps are protecting the body of this companion radiyallahu anhu. Imagine, brothers and sisters, the point that I wish to make from this, inshaAllah, and I'll end off with this, is when you devote yourself to Allah Azza wa Jal, when you sincerely, from your heart, you say, Ya Allah, my life, from my morning to my evening, from my head to my toes, Ya Allah, everything is for you. My family is for you. My wealth is for you. My heart is for you. Everything is for you, Ya Rabbal Alameen. When you do this, insha'Allah, Allah will put barakah in every step that you take. From the ghaib and from the unseen, Allah will make intidam, Allah will take care of all of your affairs, insha'Allah. And this is the promise of Allah Azza wa Jal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all tawfiq. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah.